Supporting your child and understanding that her anxiety is not who she is the best gift that you can give her. Even better than a Barbie dream house, I promise. I've been there.
Transitions. Going from one thing to another.
Children with anxiety, especially anxiety disorders, tend to need, or even like, to have time to process, time to psych themselves up. And they need to know in advance when a transition is going to happen.
Mm-hmm. And so we have a few tips to share with you. Yes, talking about transitions, it's really good to drop your kid off if they're going to a holiday party and they want to go, let them go. If they won't go without being Velcroed to you, you need to figure out how you feel about that. Set a boundary. Okay, mommy will stay, but you have to go play with your friends. Right. And if the kid says, okay, then okay, that's great. So you're sitting, you're watching, and you are seeing, chances are, seeing your kid interact with others, just not the way in which you thought they would, not verbally. But children are very, very resilient. They remember things, from hearing at home, hearing things at school, and they're able to understand when a friend says to them, do you want to play? Because chances are you've probably asked your kid that at home. Who do you play with? Do you play? So you know what that playing means. And so if you're comfortable, yes, absolutely let your kid go and play. I think that's a really, really good idea. In terms of time to leave, that can be a real tough one for most any kid. But for the kid with anxiety, it is usually a little bit hard, and they need to have a transition. And what we mean by that is, if you're picking them up at 4:30, we will go and we will say, Sam, Mom and Dad are going to come pick you up at 4:30, so you have 15 minutes. And you show them 5, 10, 15. And then when the 10 minutes come, you go back and you say, Sam, 10 minutes.
It's kind of funny how these children who are so anxious at first, when they arrive at a party, will get so into making a gingerbread house or playing with their friends that they won't want to leave.
Right.
So that's another reason that you might need these transitions.
Exactly.
Warn them in advance when they have to go.
Exactly. And yeah, and then you know what, Sam, we're down to our last 5 minutes. What does that mean? That means we have to clean up everything we used. We have to go and we have to say goodbye to your friend, and thank you so much for inviting me to your party. It's important for you to go over and, if you can't talk, that's okay. Just go over and wave. Like that.
Another strategy at parties, whether they're family parties, a work party that your kids come to, or just a party for your kid and their friends, have a signal if they need the bathroom.
And that is a commonality among the many SM kids that we've dealt with, that they have to go to the bathroom, but they can't talk. So likely what you're going to have is an accident, and the kid's going to be really embarrassed, or the kid, as soon as you get in the car, the kid will scream, I have to go to the bathroom, I have to go to the bathroom. What are you going to do? You're going to say to your kid, you know what, why don't we think of something that you and the teacher, only the two of you, know, like a special code,
Well, you
for example.
You and the kid, because it's you at the party, not the teacher.
Well, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Although, getting sidetracked by that, when you go back to school after the break, try this strategy with your child and their teacher too.
Mm-hmm.
It works at parties with their parent, and it works at school with the teacher.
And it can be something as simple as you giving them something like this. And the kid, when they're ready, you'll give it to the kid when he first comes in the morning, he or she, and the kid will go and put it their pocket or just somewhere in the desk. The kid needs to go to the bathroom. The kid takes the green thing, shows to the teacher. If the teacher doesn't turn around, you need to say to your kid, you have to make sure that the teacher sees that you have to go to the bathroom. Then you take this, you put it on your plate, your plate.
Put it on your desk,
Yes.
or you hand it to your teacher, hand it to your parent.
So they know that you've gone to the washroom.
Or that you need them to take you.
Or that you,
whatever.
Yeah. Another thing that sometimes happens at parties, and what we're really trying to do is set our children up for success, not for failure. The last thing you need to be doing is stressing your child out when it comes to food. I thought we talked about this before.
No.
But we're going to talk about it anyway, even if we haven't. When a kid goes to a party, sometimes they are given a drink in an open glass. Well, sometimes kids don't look when they're putting something down, and whoopsie daisy, the drink's on the floor.
Sometimes they're having too much fun to pay attention. It's a typical child thing. And sometimes they're too anxious to pay attention to what's in their hand, and it falls.
And then they might cry.
And they get more anxious.
So, what we think worked for us very well was we used a bowl. If Becca wanted food, whatever kind
bowl
of food.
Instead of a plate.
A bowl instead of a plate.
Yeah.
Because a plate is much easier, to hold in your hand and let it slide off. Whereas a bowl is a little more sturdier. It's a little easier for your kid to hold. So I say go for a bowl, and I say go
and
for
no open cups. Closed
go
cups.
for a cup.
Especially for younger children.
That's closed.
Yes.
So that you don't have grape juice dribbling all over, beige colored carpet.
And small portions for kids too.
Mm-hmm.
With social anxiety, there is a lot of nervousness around eating in public.
Yes, there is that.
So your child will need to eat, but if it's a smaller amount, especially if it's a food that they like, chances are they will eat it without being anxious about it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, that's right. Also, it is important that you know that your child might not leave your side. And what does that feel like to you when they won't leave your side? Does it feel like frustration? Does it feel like anger? Does it feel like failure? What am I doing wrong? Well, we're here to tell you, you are not doing anything wrong. You did not, make your kid selectively mute. It is, however, there's a genetic predisposition for it.
You didn't cause your child to be anxious.
Right.
You didn't cause your child to be clinging to you at the party. And maybe next time will be better. And focus on the fact that this time you got them to the party, and that is huge.
It is, because they got to play with their friends, and then they're going to come home. Mommy, Daddy, look, I got a Minnie Mouse on my face, and I have, oh, wow, I have Minnie and a heart on this side of my face. That's really cool. Look what I can do.
And I ate candy canes, and I spent time with all my classmates.
Yep.
And I got to wear a pretty dress to celebrate Christmas.
The one thing we don't want you to do is say to your child, did you talk today?
Chances are they'll tell you. And
Chances
they'll be
are,
excited
yes,
about it.
They will tell you. They don't need you to ask them back. They don't want to fail you. That's what it feels like for them, right, Beth? It felt like you were failing for me if you didn't, do the things that, you're supposed to do.
And similarly, if you're at a party and your child does talk when you weren't expecting that they would be able to be verbal, don't shout, "Oh my God, she's talking. That's incredible. Oh my God, that's amazing. Good for you.
Yeah.
Drawing attention to her, making her the center of attention, focusing on her illness.
Bad idea.
Not good. She's
will shut
down.
To do this.
She probably won't talk for the rest of the party or the next party. She'll be anxious and terrified, and she'll be focusing on the fact that most of the time she can't talk.
Yeah. So we just want good things. And we're just letting you know that, it is baby steps. It does take baby steps. But you have so much to offer your kid. You, I'm sure, have heard from the teacher, oh my God, but she's so smart. If only she would talk. Well, you know what? Thank you. At some point she will, but right now she is not ready to.
She's battling anxiety that you've probably never experienced in your entire life.
Right.
So celebrate every single accomplishment and focus on enjoying the holidays, whether your child is able to talk or not. Your child is not their illness. Selective mutism is just a genetic disorder. Support your kid. Eat lots of latkes and candy canes.
And have yourself a wonderful holiday. Comments down here.
Down here.